Hey friends! Welcome to Koalaful. Today we are going to read Courtney and Carlie, the Super Sisters. Let's get to it. Not so very long ago, there were two sisters named Courtney and Carlie who lived in a small village. They were like two peas in a pod, peas that were as different could be. So not very pea-like at all, except for one thing, they were the best of best friends, so close that it was as if they could read each other's thoughts. Indeed, they often finished each other's sentences. Courtney was 10 years old. She had long, blonde hair that reached almost to her knees, twinkling green eyes like a cat's, a big beauty mark on the end of her nose, and 6 fingers on each hand. Carlie was 8 years old and looked exactly like her sister, only her hair was ginger, her eyes were hazel and the tips of her ears were very pointed, reaching almost to the top of her head. Courtney and Carlie were just like any other little girls, mostly good with a little bit of naughtiness thrown in, just to keep their parents on their toes. They lived with their mom and dad in a little cottage on the edge of a forest that was rumored to have elves living there. Courtney and Carlie knew that that was nonsense. Anyone with an ounce of sense knew that they were, in fact, dryads. The two girls were very lucky because not only did they have the forest to explore, they also lived within a stone's throw of a playground, and when they'd had enough of climbing trees, they would go there and meet their friends. Along the bottom of their garden ran a stream, and every afternoon when they got home from school, Courtney and Carlie would run down to say hello to Jenny, the water sprite who lived there, and tell her all about their day. Apart from each other, Jenny was their closest friend in the whole world, and they told Jenny everything they did, even things they didn't want their parents to find out. As they often did after an afternoon of playing, the girls went down to see Jenny. "Jenny, Jenny, Jen, Jen, Jen," they cried. It was the secret call they'd agreed to use so that Jenny would know it was them. "Oh my! What have you two been up to?" asked Jenny, as she surfaced from the water. Only 1 foot tall, her body was made from the water itself, and she looked like water was constantly flowing over her. "What makes you think that we've been up to anything?" replied Carlie, indignantly. "Well, your ears are towering over your head, for one thing." Carlie blushed and put her hands over the tips of her ears, folding them in half, in a pointless attempt to hide the fact that they'd doubled in size. "As for you, Courtney, you're bright purple. What have you been doing?" Courtney sighed. "Don't tell Mom and Dad, okay? We're going to hide until things have gone back to normal. And when Old Man Marsters has finished the job," added Carlie. "What job?" "It was an accident," protested Courtney. "I'm sure it was," laughed Jenny, "but you haven't told me what was an accident." "Take a deep breath and start from the beginning." "Well..." Courtney took a deep breath as instructed. "We were playing a perfectly ordinary game of run away from the bear." "As you do," said Carlie, "the idea is that you need to get as high off the ground as possible so that the bear can't catch you." "What bear?" asked Jenny. "There isn't an actual bear." Courtney rolled her eyes. "You just pretend that there's one," Carlie informed Jenny. "And then you get as high as you possibly can, in whatever way you can. And the person who gets the highest is the winner," finished Courtney. "It's good practice for when we need to run away from that big bad thing that Mom and Dad keep saying lives in the forest." She rolled her eyes to demonstrate what she thought of that story. "And you were playing this game in the trees in the garden?" asked Jenny. "No, silly." The two sisters giggled. "That would be too easy," explained Carlie. "We were playing in Mom and Dad's bedroom," Courtney told Jenny. "It's great in there because they've got all that furniture, and it adds an extra layer of difficulty because you have to get up high without knocking over anything." "And let me guess. You knocked over something?" Jenny tooted. The two sisters nodded and hung their heads in shame. "It was that truly hideous vase that used to belong to Grandma," Carlie said. "It wouldn't be so bad if it didn't mean so much to Mom. Old Man Marsters, from down the road, promised to work his magic and fix it so no one would know what had happened," Courtney carried on. "Fortunately, we had just enough in our piggy banks to cover the cost of the repair, otherwise we'd be in serious trouble. It would be so much easier if we had superpowers, complained Carlie. Then we could just fly to the top of the wardrobe and have a race to see who got there first. Or use mind melding to fix the vase, said Courtney. Or use telekinesis to catch the vase before it hit the floor, said Carlie. Or, said Jenny, laughing, have enough super intelligence to realize that that was a really dumb game to be playing. Sheepishly, Courtney and Carlie nodded their heads in agreement. Hello, came a whinny voice from the gate. Courtney and Carlie looked over to see Old Man Marsters, the unicorn, waiting for them. Scrambling to their feet, they yelled a quick goodbye, over their shoulders to Jenny and ran to meet him. I think you'll be happy with what I've done, he told them, motioning to where the vase was waiting in his trailer, safely wrapped up to protect it from being broken during the journey. Courtney carefully lifted the vase out of the trailer and unraveled the cloth. Perfect, she breathed, holding it up to the light. It really was an ugly piece of pottery, with garish colors covering its deliberately bumpy surface. Courtney! Carlie, came their mother's voice. Dinner's ready. Courtney jumped at the sound, almost dropping the vase. Careful, warned Carlie. I can't guarantee such a good repair the second time around, so don't break it, chided Old Man Marsters. Courtney and Carlie looked at each other. Are my ears back to normal? Asked Carlie. Yes. Nodded Courtney. How's my skin? Just fine, replied Carlie. Old Man Marsters trotted off to his workshop, and once inside Carlie ran to distract their mother while Courtney put the vase back in its place so no one would ever know that it had been missing. In the stream at the bottom of the garden, Jenny chuckled to herself. The two sisters never failed to entertain her.
The end.